Are you planning to study at a private university in Singapore? Or maybe you've just graduated from one. What if the job market isn't what you expected it to be? A shocking new survey has just revealed something that every student and parent needs to know right now. The employment landscape has completely changed, and if you're not aware of these numbers, you could be in for a rude awakening. Is your degree going to land you the stable job you've been dreaming about? Or are you heading straight into part-time and temporary work that barely pays the bills? If this sounds like something you need to know more about, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell, because this information could literally save you years of frustration and financial stress. Singapore's reputation as an educational powerhouse has attracted thousands of international and local students to its private education institutions for decades. Parents invest heavily in these qualifications, believing that a degree will open doors to well-paying, stable careers. Students spend years working toward graduation, imagining themselves walking into professional roles with competitive salaries and clear career paths. But what happens when the reality doesn't match their expectation? The latest graduate employment survey conducted by SkillsFuture Singapore has just dropped some numbers that are making waves across the entire education sector. And trust me, these findings are going to change how people think about private education in Singapore. The headline number that everyone's talking about is this: only 75% of private school graduates found employment within 6 months of completing their studies. Now, before you think that sounds reasonable, let me put this into context for you. Just 1 year ago, that number stood at 83%. We're looking at an 8 percentage point drop in a single year, which in statistical terms is absolutely massive. This isn't just a small dip or a minor adjustment. This is a clear signal that something fundamental has shifted in how employers are hiring fresh graduates from private institutions. But here's where the story gets even more interesting and frankly more concerning. When you dig into what kind of employment these graduates actually secured, the picture becomes much less rosy. Out of all the private institution graduates who found work, less than half managed to land full-time permanent positions. We're talking about 46.4% here. Just pause and think about what that means. You invest 3 to 4 years of your life and potentially $50,000 or more in tuition fees, and your odds of getting a stable full-time job are worse than a coin flip. The previous year, almost 60% of graduates were securing permanent roles, so this represents a dramatic 13 percentage point collapse in stable employment outcomes in just 12 months. So if graduates aren't getting full-time permanent jobs, where exactly are they ending up? The data shows a clear shift toward precarious employment arrangements. Nearly 1 in 4 employed graduates, specifically 24.2%, found themselves in part-time or temporary work. That's up significantly from 18.9% the year before. Another 4.2% became freelancers, which can work for some people but often means inconsistent income, no employment benefits, and constant uncertainty about where the next paycheck is coming from. What we are witnessing here is employers increasingly treating fresh graduates as flexible labor rather than long-term investments in their workforce. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, which is how private school graduates compare to everyone else in Singapore's job market. The gap is not just noticeable, it's absolutely stark. Fresh graduates from autonomous universities like the National University of Singapore, Nanyang Technological University, and Singapore Management University achieved an overall employment rate of 87.1%. Even more impressive, nearly 80% of them secured full-time permanent positions. That means public university graduates are 33 percentage points more likely to land stable full-time work compared to their private institution counterparts. Even polytechnic diploma holders, who have lower-level qualifications than degree holders, managed to secure employment at 91.4%, with 65% in full-time roles. The market is sending a very clear message about which credentials it values most, and private institution degrees are not at the top of that list. Despite all these challenges, there is actually one piece of good news buried in this survey. For those private institution graduates who did manage to secure full-time permanent employment, their salaries actually went up. The median gross monthly salary increased from 3,400 Singapore dollars to $3,500. Graduates from information and digital technologies programs did even better, commanding a median salary of $4,080 per month. This tells us something really important about the current situation. The problem isn't that employers think private graduates are worthless or incapable. The problem is getting hired in the first place. Once you're in the door and prove yourself capable, the market is willing to pay competitive wages. The barrier is access to those opportunities, not the compensation once you get them. Your choice of major also plays an enormous role in determining your employment outcomes. Engineering graduates from private institutions had the highest rate of full-time permanent employment at 55.3%, followed by sciences at 51.8%, and business and management at 50.1%. If you're dead set on attending a private institution, these are clearly the fields where you stand the best chance of landing stable work after graduation. Arts, humanities, and social sciences programs had much lower employment rates, which means choosing your course of study has become a high-stakes decision that will directly impact whether you end up employed or unemployed 6 months after graduation. What's causing this dramatic deterioration in employment prospects? According to the survey report, slower economic growth and reduced hiring demand are the main culprits. Singapore's economy is dealing with multiple headwinds right now, from global economic uncertainty to technological disruption to changing industry dynamics. Companies are responding by becoming much more conservative with their hiring decisions. They're thinking twice before bringing on permanent staff, preferring instead to use contractors, part-timers, and temporary workers who can be let go quickly if business conditions worsen. For fresh graduates who already face skepticism about their lack of work experience, this cautious hiring environment creates a perfect storm of limited opportunities and intense competition. The government has recognized these challenges and is trying to respond. SkillsFuture Singapore points to various resources available to graduates, including the Job Skills portal that provides information about in-demand skills and emerging opportunities. The MyCareers Future platform offers personalized job matching to help graduates find suitable positions. Budget 2025 introduced new workforce support measures specifically aimed at helping workers navigate this difficult economic period. These are all positive steps, but the fundamental question is whether they'll be enough to reverse the negative trends we are seeing in private graduate employment rates. If you're currently enrolled in a private institution in Singapore, what should you be doing right now? First, understand that just showing up to classes and passing exams is no longer enough to guarantee employment. You need to be building practical skills that employers are actively seeking, particularly in areas like data analytics, digital marketing, programming, and project management. Second, internships and work experience have become absolutely critical. Try to secure at least 1 or 2 substantial internships before graduation because that real-world experience can make the difference between landing a job and getting rejected. Third, start networking aggressively. Attend industry events, connect with alumni who are working in your target field, and build relationships with potential employers long before you start actively job hunting. Fourth, be realistic and flexible about your first job. It might not be glamorous, it might not pay as much as you hoped, and it might not be at a prestigious company, but getting that initial experience on your resume is crucial for building your career. If you're still in the process of deciding where to study, these employment statistics need to be front and center in your decision-making. Do serious research on specific institutions and their track records for graduate employment in your intended field of study. Don't just accept general statistics. Ask for detailed breakdowns by program and by employment type. Visit campuses and ask tough questions about what career support services they provide. Talk to recent graduates and get honest feedback about their job search experiences. Consider seriously whether the cost premium of private education is justified given these employment challenges. And be completely honest with yourself about whether a public institution might actually offer better value and better outcomes for your specific situation. The reality is that the employment landscape for private school graduates in Singapore has undergone a fundamental transformation. The automatic pathway from degree to stable employment has broken down, replaced by a much more competitive and uncertain environment where private credentials carry less weight than they once did. This isn't about being pessimistic or discouraging people from pursuing education. It's about being realistic and well-informed so you can make smart decisions and take concrete action to improve your own prospects. Success in this new environment requires more than just academic credentials. It demands practical skills, relevant experience, strong networks, adaptability, and a willingness to start somewhere and work your way up rather than expecting to land your dream job immediately after graduation. The graduates who thrive will be those who understand these realities and act accordingly, not those who simply hope things will work out. If you found this information valuable, do me a favor and subscribe to this channel right now so you don't miss future updates on education and career trends that could impact your future. Hit that like button if this video helped you understand the current job market better. Share this with any friends or family members who are making education decisions because this could genuinely help them avoid costly mistakes. Drop a comment below telling me your own experiences as a private institution graduate or what concerns you have about the current employment situation. Your insights could help others who are facing the same challenges. So let's build a community where we share real information and support each other in navigating this tough job market.